Hi everyone and welcome to the Road to Indy TV. I'm JP Manterola and with me Anders Kron for a special show for the mid-season review. Anders, welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean I was here to fill in for the Frenchman who's usually here, but he was kind enough to join us here on the screen along with our very own Johnny Baker. So it's very good to see you guys.
Hey guys, thanks. Good to see you all again.
Tristan, how's France?
It's good. My holidays is a bit affected by the strikes.
Okay, strikes, okay.
But trying to make it work. Happy to Anders. Hope you don't feel too comfortable in this chair because as soon as the transportation starts working again, I'm back.
Today, a special episode, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you think about that?
That's exciting. I mean, it sounds like a game to me.
All right, well, I have a bucket here where we're gonna put the bad. The good will stay on the table, and the ugly, we will throw it away. Are you up for that?
Yeah,
guys?
That sounds awesome. We'll get all three series.
All right, let's start USF 2000 really quick. What do you bring up?
Well, why don't I get the ball rolling? For me, big moment of the season was Will Owen winning at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with an inspired decision to pit for slick tires on a drying track and had to do all the hard work and drive through the entire field to take the victory for Pabst Racing.
For me, it's Adrian Starantino. He took the biggest race that you can win at Indianapolis. Just like the big guys, he jumps there and take the first place. That was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget about Aaron Tillitz. We were so impressed by his performance at Lucas Oil Raceway. It was super fast in practice. We thought he was going to qualify on pole, qualified only 6th, but he was the only drivers, or one of the only drivers, to make the car work on the low line, which meant he could get his car in clean air, get his wings work really well, and have more downforce than his competitors. Went through the field amazingly quickly and went on to win his first race of the season. And he's far in points right now because he had a couple accidents at the start of the year, but it could be a factor if he keeps the momentum going.
Another good point on that is they didn't have any yellow flags on that race. That was a really good, positive.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
It was a crazy race, but they did a fantastic job.
Yeah. Anders?
It's a good point, but let's not forget about RC Enerson. Won 3 out of 4 races. I mean, doing an amazing job in the beginning of the year. Had a little bit of a struggle there, but he's going to come back and he's still leading the championship.
All right. Anyone else on USF 2000?
Well, Florian Latarre, guys, don't forget about him.
That's true.
It's been very strong.
It's in my list. It's in my list. Go ahead.
He's kind of, well, I want to talk about the French, obviously.
We know that.
He's catching RC Enerson in points, and, obviously RC had these 3 wins out of 4 at the first 2 rounds in St. Petersburg and Barber. Has been struggling since then. It seems like he's very good when he's at the front, and he has been struggling a little more when he was in the pack, in the field, but, these guys are young and they always improve, so we can expect more from him, and it's going to be interesting.
And I think just talking about the series as a whole, so in the middle of the year, USF 2000 doing exactly what it always does. Great racing with 5 winners in the first 7 races.
That's actually a really good point. That shows how competitive is that field and how much they need to prove these young drivers.
And so just to wrap up, we have then Will Owen on the good.
On the good side, yeah.
Adrian Starantino, another good one.
There you go.
Aaron Tillitz, yet another good one.
RC Enerson.
RC Enerson, good. And finally, Frenchie, Florian Latarre, to make Tristan Vautier happy. Boom. Oh, there's the good.
And the good. All right, let's...
And don't forget the teams as well, a big battle in between teams. Arms Up Motorsports wins the race, Pabst Racing, Enerson, Team He Racing, and J Motorsports. So, it's a lot of different teams who can win in this series.
Well, another good thing for the team is the Cape Motorsport with Latarre moving. So
yeah, exactly.
Stay with that topic open. It's coming back. It's coming back. Why don't we move into Pro Mazda? What do you think?
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Well, I check these buckets, so we're gonna come back because we're gonna throw all the bad things there.
I think that'll be the favorite part of my show.
All right, let's keep it without buckets.
Okay.
All right, let's go. I will say Spencer Pigot. To me, is the good. He showed a lot of speed during the Winterfest. He's continued showing a lot of speed and determination. I mean, you can see him how he gets in the zone and he just knows exactly what to do to get speed. Unfortunately, we will see it again in the bad. Everything was good until he landed in Indianapolis. Who do you pick, Anders?
Well, to me, who I want to pull out is Scott Hargrove, who's obviously a rookie to Pro Mazda this year, having moved up from USF 2000. and scored 2 wins at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and they are just coming stronger and stronger and stronger, and I think we'll see a lot more of him through the rest of the year.
Johnny.
I want to talk about Garett Grist. I mean, I watched that entire Pro Mazda race, and it came to qualifying, pulled out a couple of huge laps to stick the car on the pole, and then just walked away with the race. Him and his Andretti Autosport team were just hooked up, and he had the win at NOLA in Winterfest, and then he showed up the night before the 500 to arguably win one of the biggest races of the year. To me, big statement from Garett and Andretti Autosport right there.
What about you, Tristan?
Well, I think we cannot forget about the rivalry between Juncos Racing and Cape Motorsports. Honestly, who would have believed that Cape Motorsports, a rookie team with 2 rookie drivers, would arrive in the series and be like 3 points behind the series leader after only 4 race weekends. It's really amazing how quickly both the team and the drivers have learned the car, and I mean, everybody must be really surprised at how well they've been doing. And I mean, Scott Hargrove has been really understanding this car really well. He's going to give a hard time to Spencer. He's putting him under a lot of pressure. Neil Alborico is getting up to speed as well, not as quickly as Scott Hargrove, but showing a lot of potential. So these guys are going to give a tough time to Juncos Racing and Andretti Autosport, who are very established teams in the series.
Actually, I want to bring up too, since we're talking about Juncos and Cape, also one good for me is the breakthrough of Jose Gutierrez and his first podium at Indianapolis. That must be, I mean, a sensational feeling right there.
Great job from him.
Yep.
So, summarizing Pro Mazda, the good is Spencer Pigot.
There you go.
Great job from him.
You got Garett Grist.
Garett Grist with the amazing hairdo on there, looking good. Scott Hargrove, looking good. And finally, just like you said here, JP, Jose Gutierrez, great job from him.
Well, that will be the good side of Pro Mazda. Let's move on to Indy Lights. Who you want to pick? Johnny, you go first.
Well, I mean, first things first with Indy Lights. I mean, I think we need to talk about that fantastic new car that they unveiled at the Speedway before the Freedom 100. I mean, that is one sexy looking race car.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can I add something to that?
That's one of the best looking open wheel race cars around right now.
I think personally it's a perfect combination of modernity but keeping the American spirit and the Indy racing spirit. I mean, the car looks great, it's very new, very technological, but they kept the history of the Indy racing look on these cars, and it's just an amazing car.
Yeah, I think Anderson Promotions have done a great job there, and to me this is like they've taken on Indy Lights to run all 3 series now, and bringing in this new car, it's going to really define a new era for the Indy Lights series. And to me, I'm interested. I think this is exactly what you need to attract drivers all over the world to come to the final step before you become an IndyCar driver.
Absolutely.
All right, Anders, who did you pick?
Well, for me, the good in Indy Lights.
You are the Indy Lights commentator, so we are. I can't wait. Go for it.
I've seen a couple of races here, but to me the good is the battle we've seen between Gabby Chavez and Zach Veach. They've been winning 3 races each. Obviously, Gabby won the big one, the Freedom 100, in a photo finish. Absolutely amazing. But the rivalry between Veach and Chavez has been something that we rarely even see in IndyCar, and I think that's going to be something to behold for the rest of the season as well.
Tristan, what do you pick?
I have to go with the French, of course, Alex Baron. I mean, this young guy just arrives and does not care. I mean, young rookie, he's actually putting Gabby Chavez under some pressure, and I believe he's helping Gabby because they're both very fast, and I think they learn from each other. Obviously, Alex, a rookie, has more to learn than Gabby, but his raw speed and his raw talent is huge. I mean, he's stepping up from USF 2000 straight into an Indy Lights car. Obviously, has been doing a couple mistakes. It's a big car for him to learn, but a lot of speed. So I think we can put him in the good.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take Schmidt-Peterson in the good because he finally showed the speed for Luiz Razia and Jack Harvey. I mean, they were super fast at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Johnny.
I want to take Matthew Brabham. He took a little bit of time to get up to speed. Very different car coming from the Pro Mazda into an Indy Lights car. Very different balance, different way you have to drive it. But he showed at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis. He won. He's stepping up. He so nearly had the win at the Freedom 100. Gabby Chavez pipping him by 0.05 of a second. But for me, watch Matthew Brabham. He's going to be coming second half of the year.
All right, that will pretty much set the tone for Indy Lights.
So I think we have Gabby Chavez and Zach Veach, obviously a fantastic battle that we'll watch for the rest of the year there. Alex Barron, as per our Frenchman's request yet again. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yep.
And then finally, Matthew Brabham, just so talented, moving up from Pro Mazda.
Don't forget my driver from
Not forgetting your Schmidt-Peterson drivers, Jack Harvey and Luiz Radzia, doing a fantastic job as well.
Well, why don't we go and we start moving into what the bad is? I know you like this part.
This is the good part right here. So this really, the good is the bad and the bad is the good.
Should I
Are we
bring
getting
the bucket?
controversial here?
Yes, we can, but
Okay.
let's bring the bucket first. Let's bring the bucket. No. Hold on. Here we go. So everyone can see it.
Guys, are we all going to need protection at the next race?
Probably so.
Yeah, I
I
will.
run very
Johnny,
fast.
Johnny, stay still.
I
You might want to put some mustache like that for the next race, so people don't move. I'm making you mustaches right there. All right.
Okay.
Can we show? That's the look of
Yep.
Johnny for the next race, so no one can recognize. There you go.
That actually
There
looks
we go.
great.
There you go.
That looks fantastic.
All right, back to business. USF 2000. Who wants to start?
I
When we
think
talk about the Indianapolis curse for R.C. Anderson, it's we saw his run of momentum just come to a very firm halt.
All right, I guess
he was one of the good
he
ones.
was one of the good ones, but
Does that mean that he goes in the bucket or does he stay on the table?
Let's vote.
Okay, I say he stays on the table because he's done a great job.
I think he has championship leader. He can't go in the bucket.
Tristan?
Okay, I'm gonna agree with them. He's still leading the points.
So he
All
stays
right.
on the table.
3-1.
R.C. Anderson in the free.
In the free.
Okay.
All right, moving up. Let me see my list here. I will say Michael Epps.
Michael Epps.
You remember Michael Epps? He
Unfortunately.
showed a lot of speed in the Winterfest. He was dominating, and then all of a sudden he can't race this season, and we don't see him anymore.
Yeah, I mean he had visa issues, so he couldn't even get into the country. And so for me, unfortunately, like the guy, but he's got to go in the bucket.
All right.
That's harsh.
Well,
He's
like
the first
noise.
bucket item.
Sounds dramatic.
It is dramatic, quite there. All right, Johnny, your pick.
My pick, I'm going to go with Bilardi Auto Racing losing Florian Latarre
Yeah.
to K Motorsports.
I give you that. Now, we can't put Florian in the bucket because
He can't go in the bucket because he's Tristan's favorite driver.
plus
Yeah, no,
he's
don't
doing
do
an
that, guys.
outstanding job.
I actually have my pick. Afterburner Autosport, for all the controversy we had in St. Petersburg, and Victor Franzoni doing a great job and not being able to keep the good results for his car not passing tech.
So with that, we have Florian Latarre stays on the table. Are we all agreeing to
Yeah,
that?
that's
Okay.
for sure. You give him on the table.
Okay.
Don't touch the Florian. Please.
Okay.
All right, well,
So now we need
decide
Franzoni.
Franzoni. I think.
It's not Victor's fault.
But you
though,
know what?
so
Don't you
we should
agree?
have cards for the teams, guys.
Well, but he's representing the team, so.
I'm
Is that to you a bad
not
or
going to
not?
touch this one because I think he's done a
Victor's
great
done
job.
a great job this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, let's not touch Victor. Okay, let's move on to Pro Mazda, guys. Let's move on to Pro Mazda.
All right, well,
Okay.
you start.
Okay, well, I think the Indianapolis curse for Spencer Pigot. I mean, the guy lives in Indianapolis. It was his home races, both at the IMS Road Course and Lucas Oil Raceway Park, and it's not gone well for him. It was the kind of races where, he was most likely not going to win because things just didn't go his way at the start of the races, and it would have been really good for him to score points, and on that road course he managed to limit the damage and scored very little points, always caught in some bad track action. The oval at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, I mean, it's a tough one because he was fast, he was consistent all race.
He was running a flat tire.
He punctured the tire, so that's a good for him because he managed still very good results with a flat tire. So, but overall, Indianapolis wasn't good for Spencer.
Big question for me. How does he get the momentum back? Hargrove has just wrestled that away
That's a
from
good
him.
point. That's a good point. Why don't we keep him in the good side of the table For now. For now.
The point. He's still leading the points.
I think there's no way he can go in the bad bucket, even though he had a bad weekend.
I do have someone that I can put in the bad bucket.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna put in the bad bucket Pipo, Derani.
Okay. So we have Pipo right here.
Here's the thing. He's a fast driver in Europe. He comes to Pro Mazda. Things are not running the way he wants to run, but then he decided not to continue running. I mean, that to me is not really ugly, but it's a bad thing. The Mazda Road to Indy lost a good driver who we don't know the details on why it happened, but it happened, and he's no longer with Pro Mazda. So, unfortunately,
this one.
I'm sorry, people.
That
was a bad thing to happen.
That's a harsh one for the Pro Mazda bucket right there.
And talking of drivers leaving, I mean, I was disappointed to also see Vicky Piria. I mean, she had a big crash at St. Petersburg, which, I mean, coming out of turn 8 onto the long back straight, I mean, I think it actually tubbed the car, but I saw she was clearly disappointed, frustrated in Brabham Motorsports Park as well. So I think there was clearly a combination of factors that led to a short but disappointing campaign and unfortunate end to her brief spell on the Mazda Road to Indy. So for me, I think that's got to be bucket material.
There we go.
That hurts.
That hurts.
That hurts.
Tristan, anyone in the bad bucket from Pro Mazda?
Pro Mazda, no, I agree with you. I think it's a shame Pipo is not in the series anymore. You know, Pelfrey is moving on though. They have Nicolas Costa on board. We did an amazing job at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, finished 4th and ran 3rd for most of the race, proving that this car was capable of running at the front. So, you know, I would put him as well, and I think we need to move on to Indy Lights. I think that's it for Pro Mazda.
All right, let's move on in Indy Lights to the bad things. Got my bucket here.
I might as well start with Indy Lights.
All right.
Well, I was a bit worried for my life after the Long Beach episode when I kind of called out Vittorio Garelli for his unfortunate episode at Long Beach there when he was disappointed with the team and not getting the results. And again, another guy coming over from Europe who got frustrated and just walked out. And for me, that's a bad thing, because I think it's a bad thing in the sense of we want to see drivers, you know, with a good, positive attitude, making a positive impression in front of IndyCar team owners. But at the same time, to me, that just shows what a high standard there is on the Mazda Road to Indy. Look at these young American drivers all running at the front. These guys are the real deal.
Anders is the Indy Light expert, so he will tell us. What are your thoughts on Vittorio?
Well, I too feel that Vittorio, you know, he definitely should have stayed with Team Moore Racing, because they are a great operation and they've done well in the past. So I think him just spending a bit more time learning everything would have helped him tremendously. I mean, look at Jack Harvey and Luiz Razia. It took them a while as well, but they got there because they worked at it. And so for that, to me, I want to put this one in the bucket. And then segueing on from that, it's a real shame. I mean, my next sort of victim here is Lloyd Read, who obviously only did the first 4 races, and you know, he stepped up from Pro Mazda pretty quickly, and I don't know if it was necessarily quite ready, but then he just stopped running altogether, and that's sort of like a punch while you're down kind of deal. So yeah, that to me is a bad. I don't know what you guys think.
I think it's a bad too.
Yeah, it's bad. It's unfortunate, but it's bad.
All right, well.
So Lloyd Read, sorry bud, in the bucket.
All right, so let's move into the most interesting part right now, the ugly.
I'm actually surprised that we're still here, that we haven't had any like death threats from the bad.
No, but everybody loves the insides, the stories, the drama, the competition around. So I think this is the moment where we take all the dirt and we put it in the table, right?
Fantastic. Let's just stir the pot.
Let's stir the pot. All right, Johnny Baker, why don't you start?
All right. Well, I'll get shot first. So for me, I think Felipe Donato and Afterburner Autosports at St. Pete, there was a crash, disagreed whether it was mechanical or driver error, but they seemed to work it out in St. Pete, and then 10 minutes before qualifying at Barber, he's out of the car, storming off. They're clearly not happy with each other. He's done. But it was just very ugly. It was unfortunate, and for me, that's got to be over the shoulder.
All right. Johnny?
Yeah. And leading on from that whole afterburner mess, JP, I think that leads you nicely into what you want to say.
Yep, I think we all remember Victor Franzoni in St. Petersburg being disqualified because they didn't actually the team. No, it's not his fault. He's just driving the car. He wins the race. He's happy. Get disqualified because there is a mechanical part right there that it shouldn't be there. So that to me is a no-no in a racing industry where we all try to win and it's a competition and it's fair for all the teams. So for me, it's a really ugly. Unfortunately, sorry, Victor. I know it's not your fault, but you're driving that machine. So sorry, you gotta go.
So Victor went from being a good to a bad and then to the ugly.
I mean,
man, I mean, he's such a talented guy. It's a shame, but I do agree.
But
I do agree.
He's
yeah.
here today representing his team also.
It's a team, guys.
Yes.
It's a team sport.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Oops. Who is next?
Okay, I'll go. I think the disqualification of Henrik Furset and Colton Herta in Indianapolis road course for J Motorsports was really bad, unfortunately. They were at pole, and Colton was going to start in third, but the cars were underweight and didn't pass technical inspection. We don't think there was any intention to cheat from J Motorsports, just a mistake in just not enough margin of error in the ballast they put on the cars. Obviously, this session was longer than they expected. They ran the whole session. The track was drying, so they had to stay out because they were going to go faster and faster every lap. They did not refuel the cars and they ended up very low on fuel, and the cars were too light. So unfortunate. We don't think there was any bad intentions there, but these two cars disqualified was definitely ugly because the drivers have done a great job and the team as well. So yeah, definitely has to go in the buckets.
Well, there's no bucket for this one, so if you allow me, unfortunately it's not their fault, but they are again representing their teams, and that's pretty ugly.
That's a sad situation to see right there. So that's a double over the shoulder deal right there. If you don't mind, I think I'll take a look at Pro Mazda here. And the only one that I can think of that's sort of ugly here, and I'm not talking physical appearance by any means, but I'm talking about an ugly situation, and that is the fact that Vicky Piria, to add insult to injury, not only did she have a tough run, but she tubbed her car in St. Petersburg in turn 9, and that's just an ugly deal.
Just for the record, she was in the bad.
Okay.
I'll allow you to.
And I will take her out of the bad and into the ugly pile simply because her car was so ugly after that crash at St. Pete. So,
all right.
Sorry, Vicky, hate to do this to you, but it feels good to do that. You know,
right?
that just,
like,
nothing against her, but that is like a nice feeling.
You saying about Vicky Enders, you should remind her that she's a beautiful girl because she does look really good. A beautiful Italian woman. So please underline that because you've been really hard on her, I think.
We need we send a message. We need Vicky back.
There you
We
go.
get you back, Vicky.
Yes. All right, who's moving up? Johnny?
In lights,
Yeah.
I think I'll go ahead with Scott Anderson and that wreck in St. Petersburg. They showed a lot of promise in practice there, and obviously started the race based on practice time, so he was starting towards the front. Just clipped that inside wall in turn 3, and what a wreck, you know, so that was ugly. Definitely showed some promise, but it was bad to see him in that wall and see that wheel flying that almost hit Lloyd Read in the head, so definitely ugly there.
In your name, Tristan, here we go.
Wow. That went flying quite a ways back there. That was impressive.
Jonathan Baker.
Just like his wheel.
I'm gonna talk about I'll go Garelli again. Why not? I mean,
Wow.
I just think.
Oh my God,
Let's go for it one more time.
Getting slaughtered here. Jeez, Johnny.
All right. We'll bring the bucket back.
Again, I'm not picking, but an ugly situation. I mean, it was a bad situation, but it ended ugly. And to me, it's ugly in so many ways. It leaves a bad taste in team's mouth, driver's mouth, and then on top of that, Indy Lights loses a really talented driver. It's just bad and ugly situation all around. But I would love to see him back because I think he's got potential. But you know, let's hope we see him back in the future.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Johnny Baker will never be invited to Vittorio Garelli's house, ever.
All right, well, Johnny, in your name, here we go. It's gone.
Was there good distance on that one?
It is
solid distance.
Solid.
Yeah,
solid.
mediocre is what I. Okay, I want to bring up the biggest crash, the one that's going to get the most YouTube views all year long, Chase Austin.
Wow.
I mean, the guy comes into turn 1 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 200 miles an hour, turns in, and suddenly, I think on these ovals you're meant to turn left, but he was turning right.
Yeah.
And so what then happened is he hit the wall slightly, you know, ever so slightly, love tap more than anything, and his car was slightly damaged. I think that's what you'll see. So to me, because of the slight damage that was incurred to his car, he's got to go in the ugly pile.
Yeah.
I've never seen an Indy Lights car do that. That car was split in half. Engine was completely torn out of the car. I mean, that car was a mess. Huge wreck.
Tristan, you as a driver, your thoughts on this?
Well, it was scary. I'll tell you. I mean, same as Johnny, I never saw such an Indy Lights car in such a bad shape. So glad, you know, he ended up being okay. Obviously, he hurt his hand and his wrist. But I mean, when you see what the crash looked like, this is nothing, you know. And we were worried when we saw this crash. I don't really know what happened. The car just got loose on him, and yeah, definitely ended up being very lucky there. But still, it's ugly.
So we got another ugly. Here we go. Sorry. What we got?
And then I think we need to bring up Lloyd Read, who obviously he's in the bad bucket, isn't he? Okay. So
man, you're taking everyone out of the bad bucket. Okay.
Well, you know, the thing about Lloyd Read is he actually was running in a pretty good position in St. Pete, and then Scott Anderson hits the wall so hard that his wheel comes off and nearly takes out Lloyd Read's head. I mean, it was that was insane. So that was
an ugly moment.
That was an ugly moment. So I'm undecided if we leave him in the bad bucket because of the way his Indy Lights season ended, or if it's ugly.
Hey, Anders.
Definitely ugly. Remember,
why don't you leave it in the bucket and throw the bucket over your shoulder? Job done.
That can cause a lot of damage here at the Road to Indy studio, and with the immaculate shape that it's in, I don't want to ruin it. So that's for you viewers.
It's ugly. The fire in Long Beach had it to St. Petersburg. Definitely ugly.
All right, here we go. Ugly. One more.
Wow.
What we got left?
Well, really, the only discussion topic more than anything to me is whether Brabham's loss for the victory at Indianapolis Motor Speedway is ugly, or whether it's just unfortunate, because he was leading going on to the last lap. It looked like he had the win, but Chavez just timed that draft to such perfection that he got the win. So
I don't think it's ugly. I keep it in the good.
And let's remember, Matthew had his legendary grandfather just passed away.
Yep.
He was racing with a heavy heart, and he just drove the wheels off that thing. First time at the Speedway Freedom 100. I think he did a fantastic job, and it's unfortunate he didn't get the win. Just bouncing off the limiter there, coming to the line, it was agonizingly close. But for me, I think it would be, even though he's Australian, he's got a little bit of Australian in him, and it's always good to see an Australian going over the shoulder. But I think it would be harsh.
So with this being the final one, how about we do hands up for whether we keep him on the good side or the bad side? So hands up if he's good.
Good side.
Okay, so we're all decided he stays good.
That's it for the ugly, right?
No.
What are you talking about?
I got 2 more. Are you kidding me?
2 more.
I'm talking about the 2 most important ones. We have, of course, Johnny Baker and Tristan Vautier.
Where's JP?
There we go.
Well, JP's next to me, so I'm afraid that if I say something, I'm not going to get to the airport later on.
Over your shoulder.
You know how it is. You know how it is.
So, unfortunately, guys, I mean, I call you friends, but I mean, I got nothing good to say. So really, you guys go in the ugly pile. So,
really?
Sorry, you're out of here.
Well,
gone.
That's it for today.
You get on my chair now.
It's okay, Tristan. You're coming back. Well, thank you guys for joining us today over the Skype, and Tristan and friends in your vacation. Johnny, one more time.
No problem, guys.
Anders, thank you for joining us, and let's invite everyone to keep following Road to Indy TV. Tristan.
Yes, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Johnny?
Hashtag R2IndyTV.
I mean, we have more to come, right?
This is just fantastic. I mean, I can't wait to keep watching. I mean, now I'm going to place myself right back in the spectator seat, and I can't wait to watch what's next.
Well, stay tuned. We have a lot more episodes to come.
Bye, everyone.